Hello everyone. So in this video I'm going to show you how to solve for an exponent, which technically you should already know, but I just want to make sure that we're being consistent and we're doing it this way. So here we have an equation that says 3 to the b is equal to 17. Now some of you might be able to figure out that this answer is going to be in between 2 and 3, because 3 squared is equal to 9 and 3 cubed is equal to 27. So we do know before we even start that the answers are going to be in between 2 and 3. But I'm going to show you how we're going to do this using logs. So one of the things that we're going to do for this particular equation is we're going to write it logarithmically, and then we're going to solve for exponents using the calculator. So I will just give you a little reminder that in order to write this logarithmically, we typically have a log with a base number, which in this case is going to be 3, of 17 is equal to b. So try to remember that the exponent is always the thing that goes on the other side of the equation. This number down here is clearly the base of our log equation, and the answer is what goes in this middle spot. Now, I also wrote for everybody to use their calculator. So one of the things that we have to do is use our calculator in order to solve this. And what I want to do is grab this calculator screen right here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So you want to use the log base b. So you're going to press the alpha button, which is the green button, and then on your calculator you're going to press alpha, and then the window button, and you want choice 5. So that's what you want to use in order to get that for us. And then in that screen, you're going to press 3 and then 17, obviously. And then after that, after you press enter, obviously it's going to spit out this answer, which for some reason is stuck down here, but here we go. 2.5789099123. Now the directions on the top of your paper specifically say to round to the nearest 10,000th. So 10,000th would be 4 decimal places, so it's going to be 2.5789. So typically in higher level mathematics we usually carry 4 decimal places with us. So obviously you're going to look at the 5th decimal place, and because that's a 0 in this case, we're going to cut it off at the 9, and we're just going to write that. So that's how you would do the first one. So if you need to pause this video, you can, but I'm going to go and do the odds in this particular video, and then you can, from there, you're going to go back and do the evens. So let's take a look at the next example. So in order to write this logarithmically, you would write log base 9 of 49 is equal to n, and then you would type that right into your calculator, log base 9 of 49, and my calculator is giving me 1.771243,749, and then I'm going to round to 4 decimal places, so 1.7712, and that would be my answer. So a couple of things that I'm looking for when I'm grading this. I am looking for the logarithmic equation, I'm looking for the unrounded answer, and then of course I'm looking for the answer rounded to 4 decimal places. So try and be consistent when you're doing that as well. So this next one, I'll do it in red in this case. Log base 3 of 69 is equal to a. So again, writing your calculator, you're going to press the alpha button, then the window button, and you're going to type in log base 3 of 69. So a is equal to 3.85404,983. And then after that, you're going to round appropriately to 4 decimal places. So it's going to be 3.854. Actually, 3.8540 to 4 decimal places, sorry. Everybody all right with that before I go on? Awesome. Again, you can pause this video if you need to. So the next one, this is slightly different because we have this 5 to deal with. So one of the things that you want to do when you're trying to solve for an exponent is you definitely want to isolate the base. So I'm going to bring in these directions up here. It says isolate the base. So you have to think to yourself, well, how am I going to get rid of this 5? So if you ask yourself, what's happening in between the 5 and the 18? It's multiplication. So I'm going to divide by 5. You want to divide both equations, or both sides of the equation, by 5. So you have 18 to the 6x is equal to, in this case, 5.2. And then we are still going to follow the same directions. We are going to write it logarithmically. So it's going to be log base 18 of 5.2 is equal to, in this case, 6x. Now, I wrote another set of directions here that are kind of important. It specifically says, if necessary, solve for the variable. So think about that for a second. Once we get this ugly decimal from log base 18 of 5.2, we still are not done with our equation. So what we're going to do, in order to solve for our equation, we have to actually take this number, which is in this case 0.57039673991, and in order to solve for x, we need to divide this by 6. So in our calculator, we're going to divide it by 6, and we're going to wind up with 0.0950661232, and when I round to 4 decimal places, I'm going to wind up with 0.0951 in this case. Questions before I go on? That's kind of odd because I can't really answer a question if you had a question, but that is how you would do it. So for some reason I skipped number 7, but let's go back and do that one. We're going to write it logarithmically. Log base 6 of 99 is equal to n. So I'm going to press the same buttons in my calculator. We're going to do log base 6 of 99. So I wind up with n is equal to 2.5645852219. And then when I round appropriately, I wind up with 2.5646. Okay, now I just did number 9, so now I'm going to move on to number 11. So number 11, again, we want to make sure that we isolate the base. So it's super important that we isolate the base. So we're going to get rid of this 3 by subtracting 3 from both sides. So now I have 9 to the n plus 10 is equal to, in this case, 78. That is a very ugly 8. So let's do this. And then we are going to write it logarithmically. So it's going to be log base 9 of 78 is equal to n plus 10. So then in your calculator you could do alpha window, again choice 5, base 9 of 78 is equal to, in this case, 1.982823637 is equal to n plus 10. Now remember, in order to solve for this n, we have to subtract 10 from both sides. And I wind up with, in this case, negative 8.0171763363. And then rounding to 4 decimal places, I'm going to look at the 5th number in this case. So my answer is negative 8.0172. And there's my answer. All right, let's move on to the next one. So in this case, it's slightly different because we have what's called base e. Most of you already know this, but if it's base e, then we are going to use the natural log. So let me pull this over. These are our notes. So if it's base e, we're going to use the natural log button, but the directions are exactly the same. We're going to isolate the base, write logarithmically, but if it's base e, we're going to use the natural log button. The natural log button is right below the regular log button. We're going to solve for the exponent using the calculator, and if necessary, solve for the variable. So I'm going to take this question down here, number 17, and we're going to try it down here. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides, and I have 3.4e to the 2 minus 2n is equal to 5. Then I'm going to divide by 3.4. Now, instead of typing this into my calculator, I'm going to leave it as 5 over 3.4. It might make your life a little bit easier. So then I'm going to write ln of 5 over 3.4 is equal to 2 minus 2n. And this next step is really kind of annoying, but since we're trying to solve for n, this number here, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So I have ln of 5 over 3.4 minus a big 2 is equal to negative 2n. And again, I'm trying to solve for this n. So I'm going to divide by negative 2. Now you should be using your calculator in order to do this, but I'm going to have ln of 5 over 3.4. And be super careful, when you press the ln button, it's going to open a parentheses, so you'll want to close it, and then you want to subtract 2. So be careful, when you press the ln button, it's going to open a parentheses, so you want to close the parentheses. Then you want to subtract 2, then you want to go to the denominator, and then you also want to divide by negative 2. So in this case, I'm getting 0.80716875996. And when I round this, I'm getting 0.807 in this case. So that's how you would do that question. And that was number 17. So let's move on to the next one. So number 19, again, these notes are exactly the same, I just made them a little bit smaller. But I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I have negative e to the negative 3.9n minus 1 is equal to negative 2. I'm going to divide by negative 1. E to the negative 3.9n minus 1 is equal to positive 2. I'm going to write this with an ln. So ln of 2 is equal to negative 3.9n minus 1. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. And then I'm going to divide by negative 3.9. So I wind up with n is equal to ln of 2, make sure you close the parentheses after the 2, plus 1 over negative 3.9. So typing that into my calculator, I wind up with negative 0.4341403,027. And negative 0.4344 is my correct answer. 0.434. Oh, I'm missing a 1 in there, actually. So there's a 1 in here, and then this would be 1. Thought that was wrong. Okay, so let's move on. I got 3 more questions to solve. I'm going to bring this down here. So for 21, minus 6 from both sides, negative 3e 7a plus 9 is equal to negative 12. Divide by negative 3, e to the 7a plus 9 is equal to positive 4. ln of 4 is equal to 7a plus 9 minus 9 from both sides. and then divide by 7. So make sure you close the parentheses after the 4. You're going to press ln of 4, close parentheses, minus 9 divided by 7. And again, we're using our fraction bar. So it's negative 1.087672234. And when I round this, it's negative 1.0877. And then just 2 left, 23 and 25. So I'm going to minus 5 from both sides. Negative e to the 6 minus 9p is equal to negative 53.4. I'm going to divide by negative 1. So I wind up with e to the 6 minus 9p is equal to positive 53.4. ln of 53.4, 6 minus 9p. And then in this case, I'm going to minus 6 from both sides. So I wind up with ln of 53.4 minus 6 is equal to negative 9p. And I'm going to divide by negative 9. So p winds up to be, that rhymes, ln 53.4 close minus 6 divided by negative 9. I'm getting 0.224687 6949, and then 4 decimal places, 0.2247. Questions there? Okay, and then I just have one more to show you, which is number 25. I'm going to add 4 to both sides, 6e to the negative 4k minus 10 is equal to 67. I'm going to divide by 6, e to the negative 4k minus 10 is equal to, this is going to be an ugly number, so 67 over 6. Then I'm going to write it logarithmically. Ln of 67 over 6 is equal to negative 4k minus 10. Again, then I'm going to add 10 to both sides. And I'm going to divide by negative 4. So please make sure you're using the fraction bar in your calculator. So it's alpha y equals enter, ln alpha y equals enter again, 67 down 6 to the right, close parentheses, plus 10 down negative 4. And that is literally the only way you're going to get this correct decimal. Negative 3.103233,288. And then when I round appropriately, it's negative 3.1032. All right. So that's how you do it. Thanks, kids. And then watch this video. Make sure you copy all these down. And I'll hopefully see you eventually.